Down here, light disappears, pressure crushes, and creatures defy logic. This is not a place for the curious. This is a world where survival rewrites the laws of nature, where every shadow hides a secret, and every movement could be the last thing your eyes ever see. For centuries, sailors spoke of monsters rising from the deep. Most dismissed them as legends, until modern cameras proved the ocean's nightmares were real. And tonight, we're diving straight into their world. Welcome to Animal Ranking Hub, the channel where we journey beyond the limits of science, ranking the planet's most extraordinary creatures. In this episode, we descend into the forbidden depths, an alien world beneath our own oceans, where the pressure is enough to crush steel, yet life thrives in ways no human can explain. Stay until the end, because what we'll uncover isn't just mysterious, it challenges everything we think we know about life itself. From glowing predators to shapeless beings that haunt the black abyss, we'll explore the ocean's most secret realm and the creatures that call it home. So grab your oxygen, hold your breath, and remember, some places were never meant to be seen. Subscribe to Animal Ranking Hub, and let's descend together. The beginning of the descent, the forbidden depths. The deeper we go, the more the world above begins to fade. At 2,000 feet, the sunlight flickers like dying embers. At 3,000, it's gone completely. Beyond this point, you enter a place so alien that even time feels slower, denser, like the water itself. Scientists call it the Hadal Zone, a realm stretching down nearly 7 miles beneath the waves. Temperatures hover just above freezing, and the pressure is so immense it could crush a submarine like a tin can. Down here, no light, no color, no warmth survives. And yet, life does. This is the forbidden depths, not because it's locked away by nature, but because humanity isn't built to endure it. Our technology can only visit briefly, sending robotic eyes into the darkness before they too are swallowed by the weight of the ocean. In this black void, life has found a way to exist, not by resisting the dark, but by embracing it. Creatures here don't rely on sight. They hunt with senses beyond our comprehension. Some glow like ghosts to lure prey. Others move in silence, their transparent skin revealing nothing but teeth and hunger. It's a paradox that defies everything we know about survival. The deeper we go, the stranger it gets. And somewhere in this endless night, the ocean hides its greatest enigmas, being so bizarre that even science refuses to classify them. We're not just exploring a new world tonight. We're trespassing into one that never asked to be found. The illogical habitat. Why nothing should survive here. The pressure down here is unimaginable. At these depths, every square inch of your body would be crushed by more than 8 tons of force. It's a place where steel bends, glass shatters, and human life would end instantly. Temperatures hover near freezing. There is no sunlight, no photosynthesis, no oxygen-rich currents drifting down from the surface. By every rule of biology we know, life should not exist here. And yet, it does. In the darkness, evolution has rewritten itself. Creatures here don't live in spite of the pressure. They thrive because of it. Their bodies are soft, boneless, fluid, immune to the crushing weight around them. Their blood contains chemicals that prevent freezing. Some glow faintly, using bioluminescence not to see, but to deceive, to lure, to hunt, or to hide. Every adaptation tells a story of survival that seems almost supernatural. There's a shrimp that withstands heat, vents hotter than boiling water. There's a fish with eyes that look upward through its own transparent skull to spot prey from above. There's even a worm that feeds on sulfur where no plant or sunlight has ever existed. The deeper we observe, the clearer it becomes. This isn't just a different world, it's a different definition of life. To exist here, you must bend the rules of creation itself. And that's exactly what the ocean's strangest inhabitants have done. Next, we'll meet one of the most legendary creatures ever to rise from these depths, one that once existed only in the nightmares of sailors. The giant squid. Giant squid, the monster that became real. For centuries, sailors whispered the same nightmare, a beast so massive it could drag entire ships beneath the waves. They called it the Kraken, a monster of the deep with eyes the size dinner plates and arms long enough to crush a whale. To most, it was just a legend, a sailor's tale born from fear and fog. But legends, as history has shown, often start with something real. In 1873, off the coast of Newfoundland, Fishermen found massive tentacles tangled in their nets, slick, pale, and longer than the boat itself. The flesh was fresh, pulsing as if it still remembered the depths it came from. Scientists were baffled. Could it be the creature of myth? Years passed. More washed-up limbs appeared on remote shores. But it wasn't until 2004 that the ocean finally gave up its secret. For the first time in history, a giant squid was filmed alive in its natural habitat, 3,000 feet below the surface near Japan's Ogasawara Islands. The footage was grainy, the light dim, but there it was, a ghostly figure with eyes that gleamed like moons, moving with terrifying grace. Stretching over 40 feet long, armed with tentacles lined with serrated suckers, this was no ordinary squid. This was a predator built for the abyss. Its massive eyes detect the faintest glimmer of movement in pitch-black water. Its body, boneless and silent, slips through the deep like a phantom. The myth of the Kraken wasn't a fantasy. It was a misunderstanding. What humans called a monster was, in truth, a masterpiece of evolution. And if the giant squid exists, what else might be waiting unseen in the darkness below? Because in the forbidden depths, every myth begins with a heartbeat. The anglerfish, the demon with a lantern. If there is a face to the darkness of the deep sea, it belongs to this creature. The anglerfish, small, silent, and horrifyingly efficient. It drifts through the black void like a ghost with a single flicker of light, a glowing lure that sways gently from the top of its head. To most fish, that light is hope. To the anglerfish, it's dinner. In this world where sunlight never reaches, light is currency, and the anglerfish is its master. That eerie glow, called bioluminescence, comes from bacteria living inside its body, forming a deadly alliance between predator and microbe. Together, they create a signal so convincing that prey swims directly into the jaws of death. And those jaws? They are lined with translucent, needle-like teeth curved inward, ensuring that once a victim enters, it never escapes. Its stomach can stretch to twice its size, allowing it to swallow prey almost as large as itself. In the silence of the abyss, speed doesn't matter. Patience does. The anglerfish waits, motionless, a living trap suspended in eternity. But its horror doesn't end with the hunt. Down here, where finding a mate is nearly impossible, nature has taken a twisted turn. When a male anglerfish finds a female, he bites into her flesh and never lets go. His body fuses with hers, his eyes and fins dissolve, until all that remains is a pair of testes feeding her nutrients for life. Two beings bound together in darkness, one alive, one absorbed. It's a haunting reminder that in the deep sea, survival isn't beautiful, it's brutal, and every flicker of light hides something waiting to consume it. The goblin shark, the living fossil of nightmares. They call it the living fossil, a creature that seems misplaced in time, as if it swam straight out of a prehistoric nightmare. Meet the goblin shark, the deep sea's most terrifying relic. At first glance, it looks almost unreal. A pale, flabby body, skin tinted pink from visible blood vessels, and a nose that juts forward like a blade. But the most horrifying feature lies beneath: its jaw. When prey drifts too close, the goblin shark's mouth launches forward in a split-second burst, snatching its victim with needle-like teeth before snapping back into place. It's not a bite. It's an ambush. A spring-loaded trap evolved over millions of years, hidden beneath a face that already belongs in nightmares. The first time scientists caught one on camera, they couldn't believe what they saw. It wasn't fast, it wasn't graceful, but it was efficient. In the pitch-black world of the abyss, stealth is survival, and the goblin shark is the perfect ghost. Its lineage dates back over 125 million years, long before dinosaurs vanished. It has witnessed Earth's greatest extinctions and survived them all, unchanged, untouched, and almost unseen. A living reminder that evolution doesn't always move forward. Sometimes it simply endures. When you look into its cold, lidless eyes, you realize something chilling. This creature isn't a monster from the past. It's the ocean reminding us that the past never truly dies. It just hides in the dark, waiting. The dumbo octopus, the gentle soul of the abyss. Not every creature in the depths is born from nightmares. Some, against all odds, seem to come straight from a dream. Meet the dumbo octopus, named for the elephant-like fins that flap gently on its head like ears. It drifts through the blackness with an almost childlike grace, glowing softly under the flicker of submersible lights, as if welcoming visitors into its silent kingdom. Living nearly 10,000 feet below the surface, the dumbo octopus endures crushing pressure, near-freezing cold, and total darkness. Yet unlike the fierce predators around it, it doesn't hunt with aggression. It simply hovers, pulsing, gliding, catching small creatures that drift into its reach. Its movements are slow, deliberate, and oddly peaceful, like a heartbeat in a world that forgot how to breathe. Scientists call it one of the most emotionally disarming creatures ever recorded, proof that even in the most extreme corners of existence, gentleness can survive. But what's most astonishing is how it lives without fear. There's no hiding, no armor, no defense mechanism. The dumbo octopus doesn't fight the darkness, it dances within it. Down here, where almost everything is built to kill or endure, this little octopus reminds us of something profound, that life, in all its forms, can still choose beauty over brutality. The ocean's abyss isn't only home to monsters, it's also where innocence learned to float, the unidentified deep-sea entity. Even with all our technology, cameras, and deep-sea probes, there are still things we can't explain, things that stare back at us from the darkness and vanish before we can understand what we've seen. It started with a recording. In 1997, researchers at NOAA picked up an ultra-low sound in the Pacific, a deep, rumbling pulse unlike anything ever heard before. They called it the bloop. For years, no one knew what made it. Some said it was an iceberg cracking. Others whispered it was something alive, something enormous, moving beneath the waves. Then came the footage. Robotic cameras, thousands of feet below, captured strange fluid shapes, translucent, shifting, almost invisible. They moved like smoke underwater, changing form as if alive but formless. One recording from the Gulf of Mexico showed what looked like a giant sheet of flesh, pale, featureless, pulsating, stretching across the lens before disappearing into the black. Scientists labeled it unidentified organic matter. But others weren't so sure. Some deep-sea divers speak of encounters their instruments can't confirm. Cold zones that move against the current, lights that blink in sequence, as if responding. Shadows that block sonar, but not light. Whatever they are, they exist at depths beyond human reach, where pressure turns steel to paper and time itself feels different. Down there, our rules don't apply. Maybe they're remnants of ancient species. Maybe they're something new, something that evolved unseen. Or maybe the ocean keeps secrets because it's protecting us from what's inside. And as our technology pushes deeper each year, one question grows louder in the silence. Are we truly discovering them? Or are they watching us? The message, what the depths are trying to tell us. The deeper we search, the more we realize how little we understand. The ocean is not a place to conquer. It's a reminder, a vast mirror showing us how fragile and small we really are. Down in the forbidden depths, life takes forms we can barely imagine. It bends the laws of physics, defies evolution, and yet it thrives. Every glowing scale, every silent heartbeat beneath the crushing weight tells a single story. Life always finds a way. Maybe the ocean doesn't hide its secrets from us out of cruelty, but out of mercy. Maybe some mysteries are meant to remind us that not everything needs to be known, only respected. Because the deeper we look into the abyss, the more we see ourselves staring back. The ocean still guards more secrets than we can count, and every dive brings us closer to the unknown. If you crave the thrill of discovery, the beauty of mystery, and the power of nature's strangest creations, subscribe to Animal Ranking Hub. Our next descent begins soon. Don't miss it.
Our next descent begins soon.